Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. You like that? 3, 1, 2, 3. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, coming to you from a hotel room in Times Square today, gentlemen. It's Write That Down, the only show in America, Purple Daily and Mackie and Judd, the OG version, that's dumb enough to put statistics next to our predictions. And so I'm in New York City for a sports media summit here, and just like half paying attention to the content at the summit and just scrolling through NFL and Vikings Twitter. But what a wild week. Like, I think we all figured the Vikings were going to have a crazy week, but for all of that to happen in the first 48 hours is wild, you guys.
That's the best part is like we are. So you cannot sign a contract officially in the free agency period until 3 p.m. today. We're recording this at 10:40 Central. And like the Vikings have done most of their work. Like they knocked it out right away. They lost guys. They got guys. Hunter's gone now. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind. And I would say for the purposes of entertainment, it's probably been about as fun of a start of a free agency period as this team has had in a long time.
Yes. I think part of the benefit, like, not that the Kirk Cousins dead cap hit of $28.5 million is helpful in any ways, but at least you knew that whether you re-signed him or whether he came back on a multi-year deal, you knew that like his cap hit was going to be pretty much the same. So it allowed them to map out the rest of what they wanted to do kind of off to the side. And now we get to move forward.
Yeah, I think it also helps. So they clearly had some type of inkling on Kirk. I don't know how much, but the one that it's really clear to, and to their credit, they addressed this because of it. It's very clear that they knew Daniil was gone. And so like you didn't get a lot of haggling about can we keep him, and God bless him. He got paid 2 years, approximately $50 million guaranteed by the Texans. But I think it helps when you sort of know what you're going to be doing from your own retention standpoint of players to then just go out and proactively try and replace some of them.
Yep. So before we get in here, and we'll get into, there's a few other I know you and Chip have a Purple Access episode that you're going to throw out on the Purple Daily YouTube channel and podcast feeds. We'll get into some of the latest. There's a couple Justin Jefferson nuggets and an interesting Schefter clip. So we're going to do that after the Write That Down predictions. Before we dive into Write That Down, Judd, tell the audience about our favorite convenience store and gas station.
That would be Quick Trip, quality gas guarantee. But right now, I want to talk about the food offerings, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I'm not just talking snacks. Yeah, snacks are a Quick Trip as well. But you right there, if you are watching this, are looking at all of the delicious food options from Quick Trip. And you know what? It's been a busy week. If you're a Vikings fan, you are racing home to get in front of your TV to find out what's going on. Perhaps you are racing home to watch Purple Daily, but you need dinner before you do that. And may I suggest the fried chicken, chicken tenders, roasted whole chicken. That's right. Quick Trip, all about options. You talk about roster construction. You talk about you need a quarterback, a running back, a guard, a center. Well, Quick Trip has food construction down, especially when it comes to chicken, boneless wings, roasted whole chicken, whatever you need. May I suggest Quick Trip for your dinner stop?
Amen to Quick Trip. So here's how Write That Down works for those that are maybe you just discovered this daily Vikings podcast throughout the last 48 hours, in which case, welcome in. This is how it works. Every Wednesday, we make predictions. We go on the record, and we put statistics next to our predictions. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody on the show each week. They must be quantifiable. Those are the parameters. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. The season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl, so we're just entering a new season here over the last few weeks. And listeners, if you want to be like Kelly and you want to participate as a guest listener predictor, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled for some time in the coming week. So, boys, this is a pretty beefy accountability session because we had a lot of free agency and Kirk Cousins predictions from the past several months. So we'll start with Judd. We'll hold you accountable first here, Judd. We'll start with the bad. You said by next Monday, so this past Monday, The Vikings will sign a top 25 free agent from PFF's most recent list. This is a bad beat because Jonathan Grenard was just outside of the top 25.
Oh,
Danielle Hunter and Kirk Cousins were both in the top 25, but they did not re-sign with the Vikings,
Right.
so this one is incorrect.
Okay.
Rough.
So you know what? It's the beginning of the season. If I am too invested now, where am I going to be come next September, October? You know what? It's a bad beat. I move on.
No. You said Danielle Hunter will agree to a new deal with a team that's not the Vikings within the first hour of the legal tampering period. Dude, it took him almost 2 days.
This is not a bad beat. This is not a bad beat. This is just a beat.
Yeah, it's just a beat.
Yeah, he still wound up getting, like you already said it, just under $50 million over 2 years. But I think his agent, there's a reason why he didn't sign within the first 5 seconds, right? Because I think he thought, oh, this is going to be great. I led the league in TFLs. I've had 26 sacks in 2 years. I'm going to get the bag. And he got a bag, but it wasn't the bag that maybe he was looking for.
Total guess. I'm thinking he was thinking, or his representatives were 3 to 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's the term of the contract, not the cash, that might have surprised his camp a little bit, but that's a guess.
It is interesting, though, that he basically got 2 guaranteed years. Like, he got 48 of the 50, up to 51 guaranteed. So maybe he just prioritized, hey, I'll take the 50 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons, and I'll try to get another, not similar, but another decent contract here in 2 more years.
Yeah, and he can probably play for another 5 years.
Yeah.
The question is, like, are you going to pay him at the top of the edge market? So he's going to wind up being a year-to-year mercenary like Von Miller's been and some of these other guys, right? All right, Judd, you said Kirk Cousins will release at least 2 more videos on social media working out before March 11th. He didn't. I don't think he did.
No, I know. He must have figured the one on the courts. I'm not sure what type of surface that was. He must have thought, you know what? That's all teams are going to see from me.
Yeah.
And the Falcons are like, how much can we give you? Where are our wheelbarrows?
He didn't need 2 more videos. They saw the one video. They're like 180 million.
Arthur Blank's got here's my wheelbarrow
Shut up and
full
take
of
my money.
cash. Just take it. Take it.
You said there'd be a credible report before free agency that the Vikings will have an interest in Antoine Winfield Jr. He was franchised, and there was nothing that we saw on the internet. You said Russell Wilson will be the starting quarterback of the Falcons week 1 of 2024. I mean, something weird could happen, but
When
we're
was
going to
that?
take this one.
That's an old that must be. That must go back to.
I don't think it's too old.
Let's see here.
All right.
Let me pull up the old spreadsheet. You said it probably like, well, you said it right. It was the same week that you made the Jake Browning will be the starting quarterback for a team in week 1 prediction. So December, like mid-December.
Okay. Yeah, that's a while ago. Yep.
Okay.
I was going to say, because I pivoted off of that fairly quickly. But anyway. All right.
On the positive side, you did say Eric Kendricks and Patrick Peterson would be released by their teams this offseason.
I didn't get the touchdown for that one. All right.
You were pining for a touchdown, but those are 2 fossil players that were.
The fan, by the way, on X, the fans were with me on that. Like, I got a lot of support. I was propped up.
Yeah, but you know what? The rules are the rules here. It's not an automatic touchdown unless it's a
Public's
3-item parlay.
Well, they weren't.
And
then
that's
you said,
that's you coming back for the encore after your set of what 2 songs, what 2 hits are Judd gonna play? I'm gonna play my former Vikings players hits. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
What other former Vikings can Judd take a crap on here today and write that down? Let's go back to the Thielen well.
Oh, it'd be easy now. Yeah,
that man has a family. Yeah. And sometimes his family complains about his employers on social media. You said there'd be a credible report that the Vikings are pursuing Christian Wilkins in free agency. There was. They were in on Christian Wilkins. So congratulations on those 2 correct predictions.
Cool.
Okay, we'll get to my predictions. We'll start with the bad. I said Danielle Hunter will sign with the Bears. Wonder if that came close at all. I don't think we've seen a list of other suitors for him.
Nope, we did not.
You're going to see here, by the way, how I shifted my Kirk Cousins predictions over time. We'll start with the wrong ones. This is how you hedge and change your mind and write that down. I said at one point Kirk Cousins would sign a contract back with the Vikings for 2024. that he'd be a 49er by May 1st of 2024, which is a pretty old prediction, and that the Vikings would add more money or years to his contract before they draft a quarterback in the first round. Those are all wrong. But then I started to see the Atlanta thing clearly a few months ago. And I said Kirk Cousins' next contract will be at least a 3-year deal, not counting void years. And I don't know that any of these are touchdowns, I guess. I think they're good completions, but I don't know that they're touchdowns. I said by March 18th, Kirk Cousins would sign with the Falcons, or he will have visited with the Falcons. And right after the Achilles injury, I said he will sign a contract before the end of March, that he would show enough health. And obviously, they showed plenty, in January and February to get signed. So not a bad week for me. Listeners had a pretty good week here too, boys. We'll start with the bad. David said Russell Wilson will sign with the Raiders. Lauren said the Vikings would extend both Cousins and Jefferson within a 24-hour window. And Nick said Brian Flores and Danielle Hunter would be with the Vikings in 2024. B-Flow is, Hunter is not. On the good side, Tom said Cousins will start no more than 13 games with the Vikings this year. Well, nice work, Tom. Justin said Danielle Hunter has played his last game as a Viking in 2023. David, and I think this is a touchdown, said the Vikings will sign at least 2 of these 3 free agents.
Oh, wow.
And he specifically listed Tyre Tart, Blake Cashman, and Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yeah,
and dudes,
absolutely.
I think Tart is still out there, and they do need some defensive tackle.
What if he goes 3 for 3? What if he goes 3 for 3?
He could go 3 for 3 on this. Yeah, pretty good. Jeremy said the Vikings would be linked to Baker Mayfield this offseason via credible sources. I saw enough steam. I don't know. There was a couple credible Graziano.
Jeremy Fowler.
Yeah, Fowler.
Appeared and made a prediction that Jeremy Fowler, he fulfilled his own prophecy. It was never a chance.
So we're going to count that one. And then, okay, I need a ruling on this one. Because ordinarily, I'll just read it. Nick said, Kirk Cousins will sign a new long-term contract of 4 years or more.
Yeah.
And will retire as a Viking. So this is a two-part parlay.
Yeah.
Again, the first part is Kirk will sign a new long-term contract. Ding.
Yep.
4 years or more.
Yep.
And will retire as a Viking. I feel like this has to stay on the board until he retires.
That is correct.
But don't we have didn't we partially because of my predictions set a clock on predictions?
Ordinarily, yes. Like for instance, if he would have said Kirk Cousins will sign a new long-term contract with the Vikings, what we would then say is, well, the next contract he signs takes that one off the board.
Right.
But this is in 2 distinct parts with an and in the middle. Part one is not specific to the Vikings. It's 4-year contract.
Right.
I don't know if he intended it to be that way, but
I hear you.
I don't know. I think it might stay on the board. You guys outvote me if you want.
I'd be very comfortable putting this prediction in red because to me, the spirit of the prediction was he's going to sign a long-term contract and will retire as a Viking. Like, unless we're allowing him to completely game the system, which is what this would do.
Yeah.
I think it goes to red.
Dex, it's your vote. You get to decide.
I think it stays on the board. I think it stays on the board.
Okay. We're going to keep it on the board. If we get enough pushback from the audience, we can take it to Lawyer Chase. In fact, Lawyer Chase, if you are consuming this, we would just sort of take your casual legal assessment of this prediction.
Yep. I think the spirit of the prediction is that he was going to sign and then retire as a Viking. And do we think he's going to come back here then? Do we think he's going to sign the 1-day contract?
It doesn't matter what we think. It's the structure of the prediction.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but in this case, I feel like if it was my prediction that it would go to red. So Nick, sorry about that. I'm going against you.
Okay. I can say in all honesty, I think I would say the same thing even if it was a Judd prediction. I would say, wow, you didn't try to structure it this way necessarily, but here it is. So okay, we'll put it over here for a second and we'll come back to it later.
All right.
And then let's see, Declan, you said another good week here. On the bad side, you said Danielle Hunter will sign a contract per reports with an NFC North team. He did not. You said Danielle Hunter's next extension would be exactly a 3-year deal, which is you made that prediction like last year.
In June. Yeah. God.
On the good side, you said the Vikings will sign a player per reports to a contract of at least $30 million. Well, Grenard definitely surpassed that. Kirk Cousins will sign with the Falcons, and the contract would be at least $85 million. I could hear this being a touchdown if Judd. This is, I mean, it's a 2-part parlay. It's a specific team. Now, the Falcons were the leader in the
clubhouse.
They were like the odds-on sportsbook favorite. The $85 million would signify probably like a 3-year deal.
Yep. But Barnwell had come up by this point with $50 million per. And by the way, Bill Barnwell nailed that exactly. Bill Barnwell had a mole, man, and it was a good one.
Everyone laughed. We laughed.
Well, I laughed because I'm like, who's going to give him $50 million per? Yeah. And it was exactly, I mean, it's basically worst case, a 2-year contract, $50 million per. Barnwell had it almost exactly right.
I'll say this, that I was trying to be a little safe on the money because I didn't want to get burned. I think if I had bumped this to 100, then I think I would have been in the touchdown realm. I think this is a nice first down. Got a new set of downs. I'll even self-report that this is just a completion, but not for 6.
I would say it's an explosive play,
chunk play,
but it's not a touchdown.
Shot play.
You did say also that the Vikings would have reported interest in Tony Pollard this offseason. There were a couple credible reports saying that the Vikings may have even made him an offer, but they were talking with Tony Pollard. So pretty good week for everyone. And we now have some statistics that we can at least lean on. Everyone's on the board. Declan and myself are tied with 50% completions early in the year. Listeners and myself tied with 1 touchdown. Judd, listeners at 44.5 completions, Judd at 28.6. All-time stats, which we've been collecting since 2021. Declan, 36.3% completions. Judd, 35%. I'm at 33.5. Listeners up to just under 29%. 47 touchdowns for me. Declan, 41. Listeners celebrating their 40th career touchdown.
Way to go.
Very nice, listeners.
Listeners.
Plus, it was a good 33. One, too.
It was really good.
That was not cheapy.
Might even be like, you might even get the 2-point conversion if Tart signs with the Vikings too. So, and then Judd has 33 touchdowns. So let's get Kelly in here. He's our guest listener predictor.
What's up,
on
Kelly?
The show today. Kelly, what's going on, dude?
Hey, what's going on?
Tell us about your Vikings fandom, man. When did you become a Vikings fan for the first time?
I mean, I've been a Vikings fan for a long time, since I was like, I'll say elementary school, but really Culpepper season, like Culpepper era was really my first real era officially being a Vikings fan.
Okay.
I remember that game in 2004. I think they played Cowboys, and he had like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
Wait, so you're saying you started becoming a Vikings fan when they had the 11th overall pick, took a shot on a quarterback, a new franchise quarterback, and then nailed that franchise quarterback with the 11th overall.
Exactly. That's why I wanted Kirk to go, man. That's why I wanted Kirk to go. Like, Kirk was real good, but I felt like Kirk was just a seasoned quarterback, Every time it came down to playoff, it's always an excuse. And like outside of hearing an excuse for and then he get paid like he's really balling in the playoffs. That's the crazy part. So
no excuses. No excuses, but he played like, I mean, my offensive line wasn't that good.
Yeah, like he's good in the season, he'll give you a game in the season, but when it comes to playoff, there's always something going on.
True. You can put it on his football gravestone someday. It wasn't his fault. Avoided blame.
There was always something going on. I like that.
Trying to blame the defense, people trying to blame. It's like if Patrick Mahomes had those excuses, believe me, he wouldn't, So it's just excuses.
Yep. So, all right. Well, that was therapeutic there. I feel like we're going to have these like rogue for the next week or two. We're not going to be able to help ourselves. We'll still do these little drive-bys of Kirk Cousins. But what do you feel before we get into the predictions? How are you feeling about? I mean, there's a lot. I think a lot of Vikings fans are a little nervous now because it's a blank canvas. Jefferson hasn't signed. How do you feel now, 48 hours later, now that they've made this huge move, Kelly?
I mean, I feel like they're going in the right direction, and me personally, I feel like they're going to get a good rookie. I feel like this is the direction they need to take in order to even like see how it is outside of the whole Kirk Cousins era. And I personally feel like Justin Jefferson is going to sign the extension. I think it's just one of those, it's a contract, so they're trying to make sure both sides agree. But I think it's not no specific rush for both ends, but I think Justin Jefferson is definitely going to sign the extension.
Yeah, and we will, once we're done with the predictions, we do have an interesting Schefter clip that we will play for the audience here. But let's get into it. We'll start with Kelly, over to Judd, Declan, and all rounded out. 3 trips around the room. Kelly, you're under center, man. What's your first prediction?
My first prediction is that Justin Jefferson will get at least 2,000 receiving yards, and Jordan Addison will get at least 1,500 receiving yards.
Ooh. Ooh.
So you think J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, or dare I say Sam Darnold's going to be slinging the ball around next season?
Or Penix, you never know.
I like where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I ride with Penix, man. Never forget the way everyone felt after the first semifinal game. And he was like top 10 in mock drafts that Monday morning. And we were sitting on this show like, oh, could you imagine Penix throwing to JJ? His stock has kind of fallen, but.
And that's kind of how they downplayed C.J. Stroud after he lost that last game. And then look at him now,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah, you can't sleep on Penix like that. So
I like it.
I felt like he made it there, so that was good enough,
Yeah. Judley.
Aaron Jones will run for 100 or more yards in at least one of the Vikings games against the Packers next season. Aaron Jones is going to stick it to his former team, which tried to cut his pay substantially, not once, but twice. And the first time he said okay, and the second time he said no, bleep you. Aaron Jones rushing for 100 or more yards in at least one of the games against the Green Bay Packers.
Feels like he would be the 1A in that game, Judd, if he was rushing for 100 yards.
I just don't forget Ty Chandler, dude. Don't forget Ty Chandler. We need to work this. We need to work this. This is about the future too.
Yeah, so what you're saying is you'd be disappointed if Aaron Jones ran for over 100 yards against the Packers because the Vikings would have not given the ball to Ty Chandler.
You can feature him in that game. Little payback. But then probably for the second Packers game, he's hurt. So Ty Chandler will play more in that game. But I'm always I always like it when a Viking sticks it to the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
When he used to play for the Packers.
Tale as old as time. Absolutely.
Yep. It's always a good time. Declan.
All right, first one for me. And Phil, I went back for like the last 3 months on the spreadsheet. I didn't see I made this prediction, but write this down. The Vikings won't make their pick at 11. They will not pick at 11, whether that's trade up or trade back.
You have not made that. Yeah, you have not made that prediction.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, my first one there, they will not make that pick at 11.
Okay.
Write it down.
Yeah, it would be really funny. By funny, I mean it would buzzkill the entire draft party at the Fillmore, April 25th.
Well,
Thursday, April 25th. If they stayed at 11 and drafted, like, broccoli, if they, like, ate their vegetables and took a defensive tackle or something, which might be the best thing, by the way, because this is a whole nother subject for a different show. But based on what's happened the last 48 hours, I think we all just assume, right, they're going to trade up. They're going to go get J.J. McCarthy, whatever they may do. I don't know that people are ready for this conversation, but there is a percentage chance they don't draft their quarterback of the future until 2025. Now, we can have that conversation at some point. I don't know that people are ready for it now, 48 hours after the Kirk departure.
I don't know if they take that route. I think if they want that to extend their contract, personally, they'll draft a quarterback this year.
Yeah.
And I think your point about Penix, like I could easily see Penix being drafted in the same way that Teddy was, get back into the end of the first round, and then take him because I still think that, like, if you like him that much, I don't think you're going to risk the second round, but I also don't think you're going to take him at 11. So to me, get back into the end of that first round and gobble him up there, take him there, and the draft party will go crazy.
About to say, speaking of reactions, can you imagine if that happened at our draft party, that they get back in at 35 or 32, and they ended up taking Penix?
Well,
happens,
dude. And we should, because it's going to be, we're going to have a great audience at the Fillmore, but the bigger audience is you guys watching on YouTube that night. That's why you don't tune out. In fact, quick story. Early in Judd's career at 1500 ESPN, I think when we first hired Judd away from the Star Tribune as the lead beat writer to do radio, and eventually Judd and I paired up. One of our former colleagues, and I will not throw him under the bus by name, I think it was at the 2013 draft.
It was the Harrison Smith draft.
Harrison Smith?
It was Harrison Smith.
He made a decision to end the live local anchoring coverage of, hey, it's 1500 ESPN.
I was the Vikings
draft coverage, right? So he said, oh, it's over. Like they already made their pick, and they traded back in. So we're going to account for all 32 slots that night live because they may very well trade back into the first round.
Yeah, it's tricky on that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, write this down. Everyone's focused on the Atlanta Falcons playing the Vikings now, right? That's the juicy game on the schedule. Cousins versus the Vikings. We don't know when yet because the order of the games doesn't come out until May. But the other juicy one is Falcons versus Mike Zimmer's defense, the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to be a game on the schedule. So write this down. Mike Zimmer's Dallas Cowboys defense will force at least 5 combined turnovers and sacks of Kirk Cousins in that game. So it could be 1 interception, 4 sacks, could be 5 interceptions, whatever, like 5 or more. Is that a home run, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
Or a
that many
touchdown?
turnovers.
Yes.
So, but it could be 0 turnovers, 5
It could
sacks.
be 0
but-
turnovers. Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a healthy amount of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to double A gap, Micah Parsons. Now,
Kirk's
Dallas
gonna know
might
what's
want to add
coming.
a
He's
free
gonna
agent.
tear him apart. Kirk's gonna get the last laugh. You like that?
You like that, huh? Kelly, your second prediction.
I mean, since you just said Cowboys, like this was one of mine. I think Browns, Vikings, and Cowboys will be a top 5 defense this season.
Okay. Like scoring defense?
Rank. So I feel like they'll be top in, I'll say, passing and rushing, like stopping passing and rushing. I feel like because this year was Baltimore, 49ers, and Chiefs. I think Vikings, Browns, and Cowboys. Because Zimmer, I think Cowboys specifically because when Zimmer was a Viking, he was like top 3, like consistent years, like, and he definitely know how to handle defense. And I feel like Cowboys, they invest into their defense, like normally. So I definitely think he's gonna have right tools to like be in top 3 over there.
And should we say, just to clarify, should we say top 3 in yardage defense or points defense?
I'm gonna say points.
Points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Judd, your next prediction.
The Atlanta Falcons will make the playoffs in 2024 and lose in the first round. It's a bad division. I think that there's a very good chance that they are a playoff team, but they will then lose in the first round.
Wow. So negative. Such a hater. You can't just let it. He's not even a Viking anymore. You can't quit obsessing over him.
I'm now making Falcons predictions.
It's
all you're
Kirk
doing.
resume, man. Kirk
Exactly
resume.
right. Exactly right.
That's his
That's
resume.
right. Thank
I'm
you.
just as guilty because I made my first one too. But like this, all we're doing is perpetuating the notion that we have nothing else to talk about on this show if it wasn't for Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's
Here
where
we are.
these are the final days. Purple Daily is in its final days, and we're going out with a bang of Kirkisms.
I personally think he's gonna do good over there. I just think, like you just said, that first week of playoffs probably gonna be the last week for their season.
Little check down.
Dex, your next prediction.
All right, next one for me. Write this down. The Vikings will not sign another offensive lineman between now and the draft, and by quantifiable offensive lineman, to a contract of at least $10 million. So, like, if they bring in some random guy, I would still be safe here. But my spirit of the prediction is they're not going to bring in another offensive guard or another offensive lineman. They're going to address that in the draft. So the Vikings will not sign another offensive lineman between now and the draft to a contract of at least $10 million.
It's probably bad news for Dalton Reisner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's like he could come back on like a 1-year deal, but he
Who
wouldn't
knows?
sign that. I don't think he's signing a 1-year, $7 million deal I don't know. Maybe he would, but poor Reisner, man. We're like 2.5 days into free agency. The league year hasn't even kicked in as we record this, and he's like begging for a job on social media.
Are the Vikings not picking up the phone? Like, is he calling them and they're like, let it ring. Crazy, let it ring.
It's super weird that he didn't get a job until like October last year, and now he's like instantly begging for one on social media.
It's the swingers scene where the guy leaves a rambling, really uncomfortable message, right?
Yeah.
It's that, hey, it's Dalton here. Yeah, what's going on? Just 8:37 p.m. Just wondering what you guys are doing.
Hey,
yeah.
I think my message got cut off last time.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
Get Kirk. You should get Kirk agent.
Oh,
Yeah, he should.
we all should.
Everyone should.
Yeah. That guy winning right now.
Oh, man. Okay, write this down. Sam Darnold. I don't know how many games he's going to play for the Vikings. I have no idea how many starts. It is, by the way, it's pretty much a $10 million. Pelissero had the details. It's like $9 million largely guaranteed. And then it's a $1 million bonus for like being active a certain amount of games, even as a backup. So it is a $10 million contract. He has a career passer rating of 78.3. Write this down. Sam Darnold with the Vikings this season will have a passer rating of 90 or higher. Now, that could be in one start.
I was going to say,
in 15.
Is there a, like, let's say he comes in and throws a couple passes. Like, let's say he throws 10 passes.
Yeah. If
Okay.
it's 90, we're good.
Is it 90 or higher? I win.
Okay. Because, I mean, like, it could fluctuate greatly for why, but that's fine.
He could throw one pass, complete it,
And he's done.
never play again, and I win this prediction. Or the other way around. No. Okay.
He falls incomplete.
Kelly, what's your third and final prediction, sir?
With me, it was with Sam Darnold as well. I put I think Sam Darnold will start week 1, and I think he'll lose it until rookie by week 3.
Okay.
So he'll start week 1.
Yeah, and he'll lose his job by week 3 to a rookie.
Okay. Okay. By week 3. So
Yeah.
so by week 3, will he have started the week 3 game, or are you saying he'll start the first 2 games and then week 3?
Yeah, he'll start the first 2 games for a fact,
Okay.
and then on week 3,
Okay.
they will
Wow.
let me see. I'm trying to see if I should say it will be during the week 3 game or before
to you.
to start week 3 game.
So
I think week 3 he will lose his position. He'll lose the starting position to a rookie.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say by week 3, are we counting like?
That's what
Are we
you're saying.
counting week 3?
that's what we're talking
That's
about.
all, yeah, that's what I'm like. Damn, that's a good one.
Let's give you. Yeah. I mean, let's.
So okay, I'm gonna say
let's
during
give
the
you week
game.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
After
I was
week
gonna
3
say, I
slate
think
of
during,
games.
me personally, I think during the game they
Hey,
will sit them out and let the rookie start officially from there.
Yeah, we want you to have a better shot at this. So let's count week 3.
All right, yeah. So I think he'll start week 1 and he'll lose it by week 3.
Okay. So, well, great stuff here, Kelly, on these predictions. Since you have this life-changing platform right now on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that helped you get to this pinnacle moment?
I mean, really, like my friends, because growing up, like basically we were always like every time we play football on the street, like we'll yell out if we catch the ball, it's just like Moss, So that's really like ever since growing up, we always Randy Moss fans, and of course Culpepper, doing the rolling. If you throw a touchdown, get your roll on,
is it forwards or backwards? Was it forwards?
Forwards.
Yeah, you would do 4.
Oh, that's right, because it was slow. Yeah.
When he throws an
you start off
interception,
slow.
It was-
Walks
So,
off the field.
I've always been a Vikings fan. And I felt like I said, that 2004 game, like they started off the season with a blast, it was just lit, So I never, like, ever since then, I'm from Florida. So everybody used to always be like, why you not a Dolphin fan? But I don't know. It's like ever since Randy Moss, Culpepper, I was even Michael Bennett. I used to think was good at the time, but I was young. He was in the top running back, but
he was fine. Michael Bennett, and then it was Ontario Smith and Mo Williams.
Yeah, they had
showed you the running
Moore,
back by committee.
They had Moore too, I think. Moore.
Moeldy Moore came along.
Yeah, Moeldy was great.
Yeah, they had him. The Vikings had good people. I don't know, like they had great defense that season too in 2004 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen, man. That's a fun era of kind of a weird like broken ownership situation with Red
Yeah.
McCombs, but they put up some good. They had top 5 offenses with Dante Culpepper. That was interesting. But Kelly, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on, and we'll do it again sometime.
All right. Thank you, all you guys.
See you, Kelly. Take care.
There he is, Kelly, our guest listener.
All right.
Predictor, gentlemen. Hey, before we make our final predictions, let's shout out a couple of friends here of the show, starting with AG1. Look at me. I got my little AG1 travel pack here on the road.
I like it.
Ready to unleash nutrients into my body here after we're done recording. Trusted by top athletes all over the world and by me. AG1 is a simple and comprehensive foundational nutrition supplement for whole body health. It helps fulfill nutritional gaps. So maybe you're not eating as perfectly as you should be, which is fine because it's life. That's where AG1 comes in. A powerfully simple step you can take today for a better tomorrow. For me, it's been about 7 years of taking AG1. And I've gone from a scoop in the morning to now I'm more of a scoop in the afternoon. You could do it either way, mixed with your water, shake it up. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/purpledaily. That's drinkag1.com/purpledaily. Also, a shout out to our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So if you're a business owner out there, and there's a lot of business owners that consume this podcast on a regular basis, and we thank you for that, you understand the importance of protecting your reputation, your workplace, your employees, financial assets. Our team at Federated is ready to help your team create a custom lineup of industry-specific coverages and risk management services rated A+ superior by AM Best Company. Federated Mutual Insurance Company is here to help your business. It's our business to protect yours. Federatedinsurance.com. Judd, your third and final prediction.
Sam Darnold will be wearing number 14 next season for the Vikings.
Okay.
It's owned by Ryan Wright, but the punter will be forced to give that up off the record. So Darnold.
What's the price on that? A watch?
Yeah, boy. It's a punter. It's a quarterback and a punter. So, yeah, it might be a watch. It could just be like a dinner. It's probably a couple $1,000.
A gift card to Smack Shack or something?
I mean, it's Ryan Wright.
Great.
Ryan Wright's job should be in jeopardy because he was not good last season. So, it could just be because they cut his ass, which I wouldn't object to. But, yes, Sam Darnold will get his number 14.
Okay. All right. The Dexter, third and final.
Last one for me. Write this down. Ryan Tannehill will sign by next week's Write That Down, but it'll be with an NFC team. He's going to move to the NFC, and he'll sign by next week's Write That Down.
Who needs one right now in the NFC? Who needs a bridge? The Commanders grabbed a bridge, didn't they?
Yeah. They grabbed who did they grab? They grabbed somebody. Not Tannehill.
I feel like the bridges of
Marcus Mariota. They grabbed Mariota.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
dynamic Marcus Mariota.
My guy Drew Lock will be backing up and/or starting for your New York Giants. He got signed by the Giants.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett going back to the Patriots. So there's been some moving and shaking, but I think Tannehill will sign by next week's Write That Down, and it'll be in the NFC.
Probably have just a backup, right?
Yeah, probably as a backup.
I don't think he's in. He might get a job where he can earn the job, or a guy gets hurt, but I don't think he's in a position to really go in as a bridge right now.
Yeah,
very fragile.
My final prediction. Write this down. This Justin Jefferson stuff is. We'll play a clip here from Adam Schefter.
Uh-oh.
But this Justin Jefferson stuff is making a lot of Vikings fans nervous. I don't think it should. I guess it would actually be sort of an upset historically if they didn't trade Justin Jefferson, because they traded Moss, Percy Harvin, and Stephon Diggs. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. So I'm here to tell you with this prediction. Write this down. Vikings fans, it's okay. Justin Jefferson will sign a long-term contract extension with the Minnesota Vikings. So I'll just say he'll sign an extension. The word long-term is nebulous. He'll sign an extension with the Vikings.
Oh, well,
now I'm also on the record saying it might not happen until training camp with one of my other predictions.
You want to put years on that?
Have to wait.
I mean, that could be touchdown. If you put years on it, it's touchdown.
No, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with my prediction.
I just want to see. Okay. I mean, I'm no pressure. No pressure. No. Here, I thought you were gonna break out some type of huge hot write that down take, and you tried to calm the masses.
I'm here to. Well, let's do this. Let's wave goodbye to our write that down segment. Thank you guys for joining us for that, and let's play this Schefter clip. This is from. I think it was from NFL Live yesterday, and it was him and Dan Orlovsky kind of going back and forth about the Justin Jefferson situation. And I don't know that what Shefty says in this clip, I don't know that this has been reported yet until he floated this. So this is from NFL Live, and then we can react to it.
If the money's right, he's going to sign. You're going to tell me...
His money's going to be right anywhere, though, Shefty. Anywhere.
Okay. Well, it wasn't before the season when he turned down in excess of $30 million a year. Okay? He could have a choice about what to do, Dan. And if he doesn't want to sign a deal, then maybe he doesn't. And it becomes an organizational decision. And if you're in the Minnesota Vikings, are you going to pay what it's going to take to make Justin Jefferson the highest paid wide receiver in football?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that right now? Or do you want to say, you know what? As much as we love the player, as great as he is, maybe we're better off starting from scratch here in terms of a quarterback. They're going to have to talk about these things.
Yeah, there's a lot on the table.
Where they're going to come out,
right.
I wouldn't want to part ways with Justin Jefferson.
Right.
But you can't just say, okay, we're re-signing him to a deal, we'll call it $35 million a year, and paying him that money when the organization is where it's at.
Right.
Does he want to do that? Do they want to do that? Both sides are going to have to figure this out. It's not a layup that it's getting done.
So I think that's the first time anyone has put a figure on what he turned down. I mean, Doogie's been reporting for months that they came really close the day before the first game of the season, but we've never really known exactly what he turned down. So it sounds like he turned down whatever the next level is, like $1 more per year than Tyreek Hill is making with Miami. Average. But what do you make of kind of Shefty's reporting, and then at the end he says it's not a certainty that a deal gets done between Jefferson and the Vikings.
I think it's extremely intriguing. Now, don't forget too, Kwesi, and this was for him. This was a lot at the combine. He confirmed what Doogie had been saying for months, which is we were extremely close. Like we were almost across the goal line. I think we've talked about what might be stopping this, right? We've talked about the term of the contract. We've talked about a lot of things that go beyond the actual AAV. But from what Schefter said, it sounds like it might come down to this. Justin Jefferson wants to be paid the most of any non-quarterback in this league, which would then exceed the Bosa contract in San Francisco, not the Hill contract, not the Cooper Kupp contract. So we're not talking receivers. We are now talking the highest paid non-quarterback in the entire league, which I don't think surprises us. We've talked about that before. Schefter is the first to come out and flat out, though, say that they were going to go in excess of the Tyreek Hill AAV. I guess you could assume that had been talked about, but Schefter's the first to say that. I also think it's interesting that a guy who is clearly plugged in brought that up and said then the Vikings have a decision to make. And I think Schefter, within talking to Orlovsky there, also said this is what teams talk about, which we've discussed on this show repeatedly. Like fans will say like, oh, the team never considered that. The team didn't consider it. And do they want to trade Justin Jefferson? Absolutely not. I think they want to sign him. But do they have to talk about it? They would be foolish if they didn't. So like all of these things, I am very curious why it's not done yet. I think that the Vikings want it done. I think the Jefferson camp is dragging their feet. And if it's as simple as, okay, we want more than Bosa, the question becomes this: are the Vikings willing to make that commitment? And from a PR standpoint, are they willing to watch Cousins walk and then more importantly trade one of the most, well, not one of the most, probably the most dynamic receiver in the entire league? This is super interesting. I'm inclined, Phil, to agree with you. I think it gets done. But all of that being said, there's certainly a discussion to be had now about why it's not done and why it seems to be, for lack of a better term, hung up still.
I will not be out if they come to the conclusion that, because you mentioned the Nick Bosa contract, I believe that's $34 million a year average annual value.
Mm-hmm.
So if Jefferson turned down $31 million a year as the potentially top paid wide receiver 6-7 months ago, because he wants to be the top paid non-quarterback, we're talking $35 million a year. If the Vikings decided, oh man, we think getting 2 first-round picks and not committing that much money to a non-quarterback is the best way to build the roster, I wouldn't be outraged by it. But at some point, you like, there's a line here where cap space is just cap space. You need players to win games in the NFL. And to me, Kirk Cousins making $45 to $50 million a year, 36 Achilles, like that crosses the line of I'd rather have the cap space and build a team.
Correct.
Jefferson, I feel like he's behind the line. Like I would lean toward, okay, dude, it's way too much money probably, but we've got the 5th most cap space of any team. And by the way, if they say goodbye to Harrison Smith, they're going to be like 2nd in cap space for 2025. You got to spend that money on good players. And Jefferson is one of the best players in the NFL. And look what like Tua in Miami is a great example of, okay, young quarterback, inexperienced. Look what he can do with crazy speed and weapons around him and an offensive mastermind in Mike McDaniels, right? There's other examples too around the league where it's like you put a young quarterback in a good car. Brock Purdy in San Francisco. Do you think Brock Purdy leads the NFL in like 6 different quarterback categories if he's not operating with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, highest paid running back, George Kittle, right? If you take Justin Jefferson off this team, it makes it harder to develop a young quarterback, a J.J. McCarthy that you might grab in the 1st round here in a few weeks.
And you are at that point in time, you are blowing up your roster. Like this is, I know that there's a trepidation about, Kirk to Darnold, Kirk to a rookie draft pick. But the reality is this roster is not blown up. Like you have Addison, you have Jefferson, you have Hawkinson hopefully coming back. You're adding defensive parts. Like there's a lot to like here. And again, I'll say this, with what you have going into 2025, I think you're in really good shape to pop quickly. Like I think 24 might not be great, but it's going to be a stepping stone. And then in 25, it's go time. If you trade Jefferson, you now promote Addison to the top receiver. You've now traded arguably the best receiver in the entire game. And at that point in time, now you're looking to replace pieces. And don't forget, the smart play in this league, I mean, the thing that the Vikings want to do is sign guys coming out of their first contracts because those guys are proven commodities, yet they still have plenty of time. Like once you're 30, you don't necessarily have plenty of time. So I really struggle with that one. And I know it's a lot, but I feel like Jefferson's such a huge chip. And the other problem is, I don't know in a trade that you are going to get what we all think. Like, we think, oh, multiple 1st round picks, blah, blah, blah. And you should, but let's not forget the Randy Moss trade, okay? Randy Moss was traded. He was still damn good. No, he wasn't great with the Raiders, but he certainly was with the Patriots. Let's remember that trade was the 7th overall pick. You whiffed on that pick. And this goes back to our conversation, which is draft picks are not certain. You got a couple of players. I think you got a 7th round pick, but like you did not come close to winning that trade. So the Jefferson one, I am a lot more conflicted about that I am, for instance, about Kirk walking, which yes, I can see the trepidation, but I'm willing to take it. I think if you let Jefferson go and trade him, you are taking a mammoth risk. And again, you are blowing it up as far as I'm concerned. After your GM basically came out and said, we are not doing that.
Yeah. The last thing on this, the Chiefs traded Tyreek because they had Patrick Mahomes and they had cap problems, right? Yeah. The Vikings have eliminated a lot of their cap problems. Signing Justin Jefferson, you still have a healthy cap situation. So the offer would have to either blow you away or Jefferson would have to flat out say, I don't want to play here anymore. And you just kind of reach a point where, okay, do we want to fight that battle? So we can do a deeper dive on this before the end of the week, because I think the reporting is continuing to kind of bring this up. Diana Rossini, Adam Schefter, and until a deal is signed, it's going to linger. So we can talk more about it. Before we go, thank you, Purple Daily audience. You have boosted this podcast to 11th in the Apple National Football Podcast rankings. That's massive. Here's what the rankings are right now on this Wednesday. I don't know that we have the oath to joy here, but you can still wave the flag.
But I'm waving the flag for you people.
It goes like this. You've got NFL Network's Around the NFL podcast at 8th. Bussin' with the Boys, Barstool Sports at 10th. Purple Daily is 11th. Ahead of The Pivot with Ryan Clark. The Rich Eisen Show at 13. And Moving the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah at 14. It's the only locally sort of targeted NFL podcast that's this high in the rankings. And it just shows how many amazing Vikings fans are out there, and the Purple Daily audience, the strength that you guys have. So thank you, and we appreciate you.
You're awesome. Absolutely. Draft parties sells out in what, 2 days?
Yeah.
Now this.
Insane.
People are awesome. Thank you very much.
So thank you guys. Be on the lookout for a Purple Access episode, and then we'll just be on standby if anything else breaks or any major Vikings news hits. Plus, Thursday is tomorrow, Feedback Friday, so a lot more Purple Daily coming at you. And don't forget the original OG version of Write That Down on the Mackey and Judd podcast feed and Score North YouTube channel. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. Now they just need to find a young quarterback at some point.